My name is Lily. On my 30th birthday, I realized my big dream.
Lily, congratulations on your grand opening.
Arya and Mira, my friends since middle school, exclaimed as they energetically opened the door. Yes, on that day, I finally opened my own cafe, which had been my lifelong dream. It was a little before 11 a.m., just before the official opening time. Since it was a pre-opening day, there were no customers yet, and the cheerful voices of Arya and Mira echoed through the small cafe. Thank you both. They offered me a large flower arrangement and a tea set as a congratulatory gift. I showed them to a window-side table where the view was lovely, and they immediately ordered the lunch set. The cafe was so small that, with no other customers, I could continue chatting with them while preparing the food, as we were in close proximity.
Indeed, Lily, your sense of style has always been outstanding, so the interior decor of your cafe is incredibly lovely.
Ara complimented, and Mira nodded in agreement. I felt so happy to receive their compliments and responded brightly, "Thank you. It means a lot to me." I brought them the menu of the day: an omelette, toast with salad, and iced coffee. They ate it with great enthusiasm and praised the flavors. Later, we prepared flyers to distribute in the neighborhood as we continued our conversation. By the way, I thought things were tough 2 years ago. Lily, you've done an amazing job, reaching this point all by yourself, Mira said in a gentle voice, and Arya added,
That's right, you were going through a lot back then. I really admire your positive attitude, Lily.
Thank you. Life won't be enjoyable if I keep feeling down. Positivity, positivity. I responded cheerfully to both of them, but it reminded me of the incident that happened 2 years ago, making my heart ache a little. 2 years ago, I got divorced from my beloved husband, Ethan. He was 1 year younger than me. In high school, I started working part-time in a cafe because I loved cafes. With the dream of owning my own cafe someday, I enrolled in a vocational culinary school after high school. Until my graduation from the vocational school, I continued to work at the same cafe. I met Ethan there, where he came as a student part-timer whom I had to show the ropes, which I found incredibly enjoyable.
Lily, you always seem so happy working.
Ethan commented one day. Because it's fun, I replied.
I enjoy working with you too, Lily. I want to spend more time together. Would you go on a date with me sometime?
I still vividly remember the sincere look in Ethan's eyes, and my face blushing as I nodded. We started dating, and when Ethan graduated from university, he proposed. We got married, thinking about starting a family one day, and eventually owning a home with a cafe next to it. With such dreams in mind, our married life began. We used to live separately while dating, and Ethan was a university student, so we didn't know and simply assumed that getting married would mean more time spent together. But when we actually started living together, we found ourselves increasingly missing each other. Ethan worked as an office employee, leaving home at 8 a.m. and returning at 6 p.m. On the other hand, as the cafe manager, I left home around 10 a.m. to have prep time, and due to evening hours at the cafe, I returned home at midnight. To make matters worse, Ethan had weekends off, while I had a shift-based schedule with days off usually during the week. We rarely had the chance to spend an entire day together, and after about 3 years of such a lifestyle, something happened one day.
I've been thinking, I want us to start a family. What do you think, Lily?
Ethan asked. Seeing people around us getting married and having children, Ethan must have had farts of his own. Though I wanted to have children one day, I was thinking it could wait since at that time we just couldn't find the time for just the two of us. But hearing Ethan's words made me happy, and I replied, "Yes, me too." We both made an effort to create more time for ourselves, but even after several years, the stork did not visit us. We considered that getting pregnant involved luck, but we decided to get a medical checkup just in case. But there, I learned an unexpected truth. I had a congenital abnormality in my uterus, making it difficult for me to conceive. Even if I did get pregnant, there was a significant risk to my health during childbirth. I told Ethan about it when he came home from work. "I'm sorry," I cried as I apologized to Ethan. While comforting me, Ethan gently stroked my back and said,
"It's okay. We can do nothing about it. I'm sorry for putting you through this."
Even though Ethan seemed to carefully choose his words to comfort me, I could tell he was also feeling down. After that, our relationship changed completely. We struggled to find the right words, and our conversations became stagnant. We even started avoiding each other's eyes. Distance grew between us. I didn't let the distress show to the others, so the cafe staff said things like,
Lily always looks sparkling, and I know it's for having a wonderful husband and a happy marriage. How lucky she is.
I could only fake a smile and let it pass, saying to myself, it's not really like that. And one day, I got a phone call from Ethan's mother, the phone call that ended our marriage.
"Lily, I'm sorry to say this over the phone, but can you please break up with Ethan?"
I couldn't respond to those words. Though she knows about it, I immediately realized, how could you say such a thing? It's our marriage, and it's none of your business. I wanted to say, but I couldn't say any of that.
"Please think about it,"
she said, and then the call ended. Well, I guess she wants grandchildren. I'm a failure as a wife and daughter-in-law. Thoughts I had been avoiding started racing through my mind, and I couldn't stop them. Although I was still at work, I left the cafe to the other staff and hurriedly went home. I packed my belongings into my bag as much as I could and left. I went to Mira, who still lived alone and was single. I sent a letter and the divorce papers to Ethan by post. Perhaps this one-sided way of ending things wasn't the best. I fought. Ethan called me multiple times, but I didn't answer. He sent messages saying,
"I don't want to get a divorce, Lily. I won't."
I said to myself, if I saw him again, my decision to leave him would weaken. And if I stayed with him, I couldn't give him children and grandchildren to his parents. I want Ethan to be happy. I shouldn't be with him. That's how I fought, and running away was the only option that came to mind. At the cafe where I worked, I asked the other staff members to refuse service to Ethan, even if he came to visit. It was more than 3 months after I handed him divorce papers that Ethan signed them. We got divorced. His last message to me was,
"Lily, thank you for everything."
I didn't deserve his gratitude. I'm the one who should thank him. For the first time since leaving home, I replied to a message from Ethan. Immediately, I received another message from him.
"Someday if your dream of having your own cafe came true, can I visit the cafe?"
That's what he wrote. Of course, I was about to reply like that but stopped and turned off my phone. After that, I cried and cried until I had no more tears left. The next day, I changed my phone number and deleted Ethan's contact. I quit the cafe where I had worked for many years and made the decision to become a new me. There's no going back now. I won't look back. to a place where I can't turn back, suppressing the part of me that wanted to rely on Ethan's kind words. I had made up my mind to walk my own path with my own feet. Then I decided that I would make use of my culinary training, study at various restaurants whenever I had days off, and work diligently. After divorcing Ethan, I couldn't get back into the swing of things at first, but little by little, I started to accept the situation. I became engrossed in my work again. 2 years later, I started taking concrete steps towards starting my own business, leading to the grand opening of my cafe. Although I still had a lot to learn about running a business and was filled with anxiety, achieving the dream of having my own cafe brought me great joy. The excitement outweighed the apprehension. I wonder what Ethan would say if he saw this. Such thoughts occasionally cross my mind, even though I had let go of the past. But now, as the person I have become, I might be able to face Ethan properly. If Ethan were to see me, I hope that if he would smile and say,
"Lily, well done. Congratulations."
At that time, I would think like that, even though I was the one who left him. Sometimes I was annoyed at myself not being able to let go. I was always hoping the Ethan was happy and well somewhere. And 6 months after the opening of the cafe, which was a small establishment, word of mouth spread, and there were days when we had a full house at least once during the day. I was now able to hire one part-time server, and I was too busy to even have time to think about myself. It was an exciting time for me, and I was glad that I had my own cafe. In such happy moments, I would think, I made the right choice. One Friday night, usually the least busy time for this cafe as we don't serve alcohol, the doorbell rang as I was putting up the menu board on the high wall. I was working alone. I said, with my back turned to the door, "Hello, please take any seat you like. I'll be with you in a minute." After securing the board, I finally turned to see the customer, who had already taken a seat with his back facing me, at the table with the best view by the window. It was a slim man in a suit. I intended my cafe to be welcoming to men as well, but in reality, there were still more female customers. Therefore, I felt really happy whenever male customers came in. When I brought water to his table, the man lowered his head in an unnatural manner. Without saying a word, he pointed to today's special, which was served at lunchtime only. "Well, there aren't many customers today. I guess it's fine," I thought to myself. "All right, today's special is omelet. Is that okay?" I asked, and he nodded. He kept his head lowered and remained silent. I started to think, maybe he doesn't enjoy interaction. So, I refrained from engaging in unnecessary conversation. When I went to the kitchen to prepare the food, I noticed that he lifted his face and looked around the interior of the cafe. Perhaps he is interested in the decor. Since I had put a lot of effort into the interior design myself, I couldn't help but feel delighted by his attention. After about 10 minutes, I brought him the omelet, and he politely nodded. He looks a bit weird, but maybe he is a good person. That's what I thought, so I stepped away for a moment, but a few minutes later, I returned to his table to see if he still had enough water. "I'll pour some water for you," I said, but there was no response when I held the glass in my hand. Puzzled, I looked at the customer and noticed his shoulders shaking. He had only taken a few bites of the omelet, and his hand was frozen in place. At a closer look, I saw what appeared to be tears on the table. "Bar, are you okay?" I exclaimed, surprised, as I leaned closer to see the customer's face. And there, I saw a very familiar face that I had not seen for a long while. Ethan. Yes, it was my ex-husband, whom I never expected to see, even though it had been years since we last saw each other. He was the person I had been with for so long. I was surprised that I hadn't immediately recognized him, but his once long hair was now neatly trimmed, and he had become much slimmer than before. He had changed so much in appearance that I couldn't have identified him from behind. But when he slowly raised his face, it was undoubtedly Ethan.
I'm sorry. I thought you would not want me in your cafe, so I tried not to be noticed, but I couldn't bear it anymore.
Upon hearing Ethan's unchanged voice after such a long time, I felt like crying. No, why are you here? My cafe was in the city where we used to live together, but it was in a quiet area far away from where we lived or the city center, so it was hard to imagine that he happened to come here by chance.
I changed jobs. My new office is just around the corner. When I heard some colleagues talking about this new cafe they went to for lunch last week, I became curious and thought, maybe, so I came to check it out.
I didn't know what to say and remained silent. After all, I was the one who initiated the divorce one-sidedly, and yet Ethan had been looking for my dream cafe that I would have one day. I had mixed feelings of happiness and guilt, and my head was filled with confusion. Then Ethan continued.
I didn't expect much, but the moment I came in here, I felt like you would be here, and you really were. I was so happy to see you after such a long time, and that omelet of yours brought back memories.
Ethan used to tell me that he loved my cooking, especially my omelet. I remembered how it gave me confidence in my culinary skills. Many words rushed through my mind, words like I missed you, I'm sorry, and I was wrong, but I couldn't say anything to him.
I didn't prepare to speak with you, so I'm sorry if I say something strange.
Ethan said as a preface before continuing.
I've been thinking that I need to apologize to you if I ever see you again, for hurting you by saying I wanted children and causing you pain. I didn't know what to say after we learned about your condition, so I turned to my mother for advice. She later told me that she phoned you. I hurt you so badly because of my selfishness. You had the right to live your own life, and yet I thought you should accompany me on mine. I should have been the one to support and protect you. I'm truly sorry.
Before I knew it, tears were overflowing from my eyes, and I couldn't stop them. I wanted Ethan to be happy, but in reality, I was just trying to escape from the difficult situation I was in. Learning that Ethan had been thinking about me all this time. No, I should be the one apologizing. I disappeared without a word, without even trying to have a conversation. It was one-sided. I didn't understand the true meaning of marriage, of walking together. I hurt you so much. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I spoke with honesty, something that had rarely happened during our marriage. To think that I had walked away from such a wonderful person. I truly was a fool. After crying so much, Ethan finished the omelet and even enjoyed the dessert, saying it was delicious. As he was leaving, he asked,
Can I come again?
Without any hesitation, I replied, yes, of course. Since then, Ethan has been coming to the cafe every Friday night. We have become closer and talk about a lot of things. It feels like we're close friends now. I have no idea what the future holds for our completely different relationship, but I can say that I feel far more peaceful in Ethan's company than I ever did in the past.